Hello, I'm Sasha of Sasha Makes Cards, and welcome to this month's YouTube Hop for a Cherry on Top Crafts. The theme for December's hop is favorite traditions, so I am making a card featuring one of my favorite holiday traditions, which is looking at the Christmas lights, using the postcard holiday add-on die set as well as the Merry and Bright die set, both from Honeybee Stamps. Now, when I got the postcard holiday add-on die set, despite the name, despite the picture, I, for whatever reason, didn't realize it was an add-on, which is fine. I wasn't planning on using the postcard, but I didn't realize it was an add-on to the postcard. I've done this a few times before too, where I've bought something and it was an add-on to something I didn't have. So this was the case with that. I didn't realize it was an add-on. I guess I didn't read it carefully enough. But that's okay, because I was really only planning on using the lights from this die set anyway, but now it just is kind of giving me an excuse to go back and buy the postcard, because the postcard die is also really fun, and I think now I kind of want that too. So, but my plan with this was just to use the lights, and then the Merry and Bright die set I think goes perfect with this. Now when I got started, you may have saw in the beginning, I was originally planning on making this an A2 size card. All of the cards I make are usually A2. Sometimes I do slimline. Sometimes I have also done A7. But most of the time I use A2 cards. It's also what I keep ready. I pre-make my own A2 card bases. So it's usually my go-to. However, I pulled out the die and I realized this is a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. So I checked it on the A2 size card, and it definitely was too big. So I decided to make it an A7 card, which I actually haven't made an A7 card in a while. Because like I said, I usually just reach for my A2 card bases. So much so that I had to search up the size of my A2 card. I actually forgot what it was because I don't make them. And I also didn't know where my larger paper trimmer was. So it was a little weird how I made it. Because I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, scored it down the middle, and then trimmed it to size. But I had to use my mini guillotine trimmer, so I also had to add an extra inch onto that because it only goes up to 6 inches. So it was a little bit of a weird way of doing it, but I made it work, and I had to double check to make sure I had actually made an A7, but I did, and I think for the layout of this card that I was planning and the lights, I think it fits perfectly. After I made the A7 card base, I started to die cut everything. I was able to die cut most of what I needed using my Platinum Scout die cutting machine from Spellbinders. I love this thing. I use it all the time. However, for the lights as well as the shadow on the sentiment, or the offset on the sentiment, I did have to break out the Big Shot, which I still love the Big Shot. However, I've just come to love the size of the Platinum Scout. It just works so well in my workspace. But anyways, so I die cut the little light bulbs in 4 different colors. I used red, yellow, blue, and green. And then I die cut the Merry and Bright sentiment in white, and the light strand as well as the offset for the sentiment in black cardstock. After I die cut each color of the lights, I put them into a little container. Now normally I would just leave it on my work surface and end up losing it, but because there were so many of these little lights, I decided I actually needed to store them somewhere because I didn't want to be picking up all of them off the floor. So I used this little just drawer storage container that I found. It actually worked pretty well. The cardstock I use is just scraps I have laying around. I have off to the side, I have a color coordinated or a paper organizer where I store all of my cardstock scraps, and it works really well. So I kind of just, whenever I need colored cardstock, I reach from there and see what I have. And for little die cuts like these lights, it's always perfect for grabbing the awkward pieces of cardstock. I do try my best to actually put the cardstock away into that paper organizer, but it doesn't always happen. As I speak, there is a little stack of paper waiting to be put away. So I try my best, but it doesn't always make it in. But it's the thought that counts. At least I have the intention of putting it away. I'll get to it someday. Maybe soon, maybe later. We'll see. So after I was done doing all the die cutting, the rest of it's pretty easy. Actually, this whole card is pretty easy. It's kind of a good card if you want to mass produce some holiday cards this Christmas season. The only the time consuming thing would be putting on all the lights, but of course if you don't mind the small tedious tasks like that, then it's really a good card for mass producing. Especially if you like to craft while listening to an audiobook or watching a TV show or a movie, I think that would actually be kind of a fun thing to do. But after the die cutting, I just glued on all of the little light bulbs onto the light strand. I glued them on in a pattern so it goes red, blue, green, yellow, and then repeats. Now, since I had to die cut the lights in 4 different colors, I have a ton of lights. So after I was done, what I like to do with my excess die cuts is just put them in the bag that the die cuts come in. I store all of my stamps, dies, all of that just in the original plastic packaging it comes in. So what I do is I just put it in behind the cardboard backing so that if next time I use this set, I already have some die cut and ready to go. Now to finish everything up, I took a white jelly roll pen and actually added highlights to each of the little lights. When you die cut the lights, it embosses a little reflection onto each light. So I decided to use a white jelly roll pen and to actually add my own little reflection onto each light. I think it's kind of a cute idea. Then I used some Barely Art glue to glue the light strand onto the A7 card and the Merry and Bright sentiment on top of that. And that is the completed card project. I love how this card turned out. It is very simple, but I love the colors against the white card base. And it's Christmas, so what's there not to love? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the description for a complete list of all the design team members participating in this hop, and to hop along for a chance to win a $25 gift card to shop at a Cherry on Top Crafts. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.